I am so curious to learn about how our DNA impacts perimenopause and menopause. So, Kim, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, it's so great to see you, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. So, you sent me an article from Inside Precision Medicine stating that menopause is far more genetically influenced than I think a lot of us realize. So, can you share some of the key findings from that article with my listeners and tell us what does this mean for us?
Well, ultimately, our foundation, our own genetics, truly dictate so many things about our estrogen metabolism, why we might be more predisposed to brain fog, energy, our detox pathways, etc. So, this is why, it's just so key for us women to understand ourselves, our own blueprint, and what our strengths and weaknesses are. Genetics should not be a complicated and confusing thing, even though they are complicated, right? But we need to use them as our own superpower to understand those weaknesses to address when you are that person that is more predisposed to having a problem with estrogen metabolism, let's say, or, those different things. And your genetics, they are your blueprint. They tell your body absolutely everything to do. So then menopause comes in and it just starts changing everything, but you had those predispositions. So if we understand these up front, we can come in and support the foundation. Does that make sense?
It does. So tell me how we understand this. So first of all, how do we get our DNA tested? I'm assuming it's like a cheek swab or
It's a,
something, but
it's
you
a,
tell.
it's a simple at-home cheek swab.
Okay.
And it can reveal. So what we're interested in nutrigenomics. So nutrigenomics is the study of nutrition based on your own genetics, right? What I'm interested in are those genetics that impact us in aging. So are you an overinflamer? What's your immune response like? Can you take and convert folic acid and turn it into the bioactive format in your body? All of these key things that we need, right? So we start with a genetic swab. We're looking at what we call actionable genes and nutritionally actionable genes. Okay. I can't change your height or your eye color, but it's that classic case that you say, oh, everybody in my family, they had they had something wrong with their heart by the time that, they passed. Well, we inherit from our parents. And there's so many things that nutrigenomics has proven you can offset those variants, those glitches, those mutations. That's different ways you may have ever heard it when you have those genetic variants with the proper plant-based nutrition, vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients.
So interesting. So let's say we take this cheek swab test.
Uh-huh.
We get the results. Do we get the results? And if so, can I, as a layperson, interpret them, or do I need someone else to interpret them and help me understand what they're telling me?
That is a great question. So yes, you do the cheek swab. We deliver out numerous reports. We don't nickel and dime on reports. We want to give you everything that we have access to. Again, we're going after actionable genes, but the reports are written in a sixth grade reading language.
Okay.
So there may be some terms in there, but there's always these aha moments that you go, oh, this gene tells me that I have a tendency to be an overeater, right? And
Really? It says it that clearly?
well, um, it's known as the obesity gene. And if you've got markers on it, we know that you tend to eat more calories before you feel satiated. So it might not be written that simply, but yes, it does tell you what the role of that gene plays so that you can simply understand, oh, now I understand why, I've seen it so many times. People are like this aha moment. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've always been an overeater. Well, I know the exact proper nutrition in the doses based on your own genetics to apply into a customized foundational formula for you based on that.
How do you know that? How did you get to that?
Well, ultimately, the Human Genome Project, when they wrapped up, they found that there were genes that were nutritionally actionable, and you could literally. So we've got this. When I do a presentation, we show a gene with one marker, and that it has a reduced capacity. Well, there's been science. It's 40+ years of science saying when somebody. So let's go to cholesterol. When somebody has markers on their ApoB gene. It's the main protein component of LDL cholesterol. They're going to be that, they might be that person that is more of that tendency to have higher LDL cholesterol. We can come in and give very specific plant-based nutrition to help that gene where it has that variant function as though it doesn't.
Interesting. Okay, so are you talking like you're giving us meal plan ideas, or do you have a supplement? Like, how does
No,
this work?
in general, we all need to be eating healthy. We know that. We live in a world of overfarmed, overprocessed, et cetera, right? That's the reason people do supplement. I just don't believe that the world needs to be stacking 12, 15, 20 different supplements. I think we need to be taking what our body says it needs and starting with your genetics. It tells us this. So I take the genetic information and I take it a step further. So we have a report. It's called the Code Report. It stands for Custom Optimization of DNA Expression. And in that report, we go over 22 of the heaviest hitting genes that are actionable that impact us in adult onset disease. And we custom compound all into one product. Billions of formulas, but that's what we have the ability to do.
So
And
you're
it
creating a supplement for me, Jessica Long, based on my genetic testing results.
That is correct. That is correct. We are in the day and
What?
age. I mean, we should be doing precision. It needs to be personalized. I don't believe in stacking, like I said, 12, 15, 20 different things. We should be taking, I mean, that's supplement fatigue. That's dart throwing. That's a lot of wasted money. You don't know the what and why. Your body has told me, and research and science have told me exactly what I can give the body to help support it. And so when you have a stronger foundation, and we're talking about menopause, so, I'd love to share a story if you would love
Of
to hear it,
course.
but the reason for this company is I went 11 years undiagnosed and misdiagnosed, and I didn't feel myself. And you just start to go, is this just what life's about? And I was looking for answers. I think so many people are. But the important part of this with menopause, I was in my very early 40s, suddenly hot flashes and night sweats. Everybody's going, oh, you need HRT. That didn't work for me. In reality, I didn't. I just had other systems in my body, my inflammation, my methylation, my detox pathways. Once I address those, that was early 40s. Once I address my own genetics, I'm now 54 years old. I don't have those symptoms. I haven't had those symptoms. So my point of that is when the foundation of you, because if you think about it, when you were born, you didn't have any of these symptoms. We go through life and life changes. But if we support at that foundational level, what can the outcomes be? And they can be pretty, pretty drastic and amazing.
So let's talk specifically about some of the perimenopause and menopause symptoms that may show up on our genetic markers that we could influence through, I'm going to try to say this word right, nutrigenomics. Such a
You said
cool
it right.
word. Okay. So can you list out some of the symptoms that we could address with this?
Well, I mean, so let's not. So what we go after are genes, and genes play multiple roles in the body. So energy in the body, how people just say, I'm just chronically fatigued, right? And brain fog. Is it that your detox pathways are sluggish? Are you carrying extra inflammation? So there's all of these different areas. Methylation. Methylation's that key switch that turns on and off, right? Are you an individual that has markers on the methylation pathway, which is that MTHFR? What's the body doing? So all of these impact all of these symptoms that we're talking about in menopause, whether it's brain fog, sluggish detox pathways, your inflammatory response, your immune resilience, et cetera. So I know everybody wants to go after one key thing, but the body works in symphony together. All of these systems all start working together. Does this kind of make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's very common to think like your brain fog has nothing to do with your anxiety, has nothing to do with your hot flashes, but really the body is holistic and there's just this, I like your word symphony. I think of them as like information superhighways that so many chemical messengers are traveling on that if one gets disrupted, it can cause a traffic jam on one highway that's then going to affect the others that travel on that same highway. So if you think about it that way, you can see how, okay, one little thing getting off over here is going to have a ripple effect over here that seems totally unrelated.
That is so accurate. I mean, and they do. Everything starts working together. So if you've got genetic variants in detox pathways that are really powerful detox pathways, and you're just not detoxing efficiently, You're holding on to stuff. You're recycling it in your body. So what does that cause? More brain fog, more inflammation, possibly gut issues. You're fatigued. So now you see, I mean, if you can go to the base of that very foundational you, and you can see those genetic variants and help to optimize them, everything just starts. It's like flipping light switches back on, that everything slowly starts all working together. I think we're so programmed. I've got a headache. I take an Advil. It gets rid of it, right? No, let's go to the foundation of you, what God gave you, that you inherited from your parents, and let's support what science has proven in the format, in the dose for you to optimize all these pathways.
So I can give a personal example here that I've been thinking about as I've been prepping for this episode. So
Uh-huh.
recently did some lab work, not a DNA test, but I did do a GI map and a Dutch test. And the Dutch test revealed that my estrogen is not being detoxed through the ideal detox pathway. It's kind of going through a different pathway that doesn't really work as well. And that could be what's causing or correlated with some of the symptoms that I've been feeling.
Hmm.
So I've been working with a practitioner to try to see, can we move this down the right pathway through gut support and liver support? But it sounds like that could actually come up as a indicator on a DNA test. Like it could be genetically influenced which pathway my estrogen is being detoxed through. You're nodding along like, yes, this is
Yeah,
correct. Okay.
absolutely.
So that's
And
something you could discover through this test.
mhm. And
Okay.
and and ultimately, we're not going just after like menopause genes. We're going out after you as you as a whole. So, and if you've got these key genes that play such big roles in the body doing certain things, and you come in and to support them, yes, that's exactly what we're going after, is to support you at that foundational level.
Which I love that because I'm not menopause Jessica. I'm Jessica.
I'm not
But
menopause.
so let me ask this. If I am genetically predisposed to send estrogen down this non-ideal detox pathway, how much can I actually expect nutrigenomics to help influence this?
We can absolutely help influence it. It can help with, like, as I said, I mean, for methylation, that master switch, if you've got that, if that's an issue, and then how you're processing those stress hormones, and then how you're detoxing. If we get the systems of the body functioning at a higher level, your body should be functioning at a higher level, if that makes sense.
So like if you have the MTHFR gene that's saying you don't methylate on your own, you can take your supplement, for example, and then actually start methylating on your own?
Well, yes. I mean, ultimately, we want to support the pathway to work optimally. And so, yes, we would give you the proper nutrients in the dose based on your own genetics to help that pathway function optimally.
Fascinating. So, what are some of the ingredients in your supplements that you're finding that are working so well for this?
Well, we use upwards of 75 different ingredients. It truly depends on the individual, but it's a whole food based product. The body recognizes food, right? So, for something like cholesterol, it might have artichoke extract and grape skin seed extract and things like that. So, I mean, there's so many different nutrients, reduced folate, and that's the bioactive format of that folic acid that we need. But then you also need the cofactors. There's so many cofactors. I didn't before I understood nutrigenomics. I didn't realize that there were things that were in different formats and different cofactors to make them work optimally. Just like I think a lot of people have heard of CoQ10 Energy, or like CoQ10, right? Well, it comes in different formats: ubiquinone or ubiquinol. Your genes tell me, do you need ubiquinone, ubiquinol, or a combination of both?
Yes, this actually first came up for me when I was pregnant, looking at prenatal vitamins and which ones had folic acid versus folate, and knowing that that actually matters if you're not able to methylate on your own. So, yeah. And I mean, most of us are just flying blind. We don't know.
Yeah, I do believe one day, I mean, the NIH says that by 2030, the gold standard will be precision. We just happen to have it now. And my whole mission has been, this is nothing new, Jessica. It's not. The classic case, and the way I was introduced to nutrigenomics is my girlfriend said her son had ADHD and anxiety, and she was not willing to put him on medication. She thought it was genetic. And I watched her spend $10,000 in 9 months, mapping a couple of pathways and putting him on something just for him, which was that folate. And then also your genes tell us about your propensity for gluten and dairy and how your body does things. So when they understood that, it was night and day different of the child. And I was like, could this be? Could this be? And so, yes, we need to be personalizing instead of dart throwing and give our bodies that opportunity to come back into homeostasis. So, and I believe that my whole mission is to make this technology affordable to the masses.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up. That was going to be my next question. Okay, you're kind of selling us on this. So how much does it cost? Is that what the barrier is?
The genetic test is $397. And the beautiful thing about a genetic test is it's one and done. Your genes aren't going to change. It's going to tell me we're not coming in to CRISPR them, right? That would be gene editing. We're not doing that. We are coming in to look at your genetics of how and where we can support you. And then from there, we custom compound for you, either in a powder format or in a veggie cap format, a very clean, third-party tested 3-time product. And that on a subscription basis is $159.
Okay. So we know you're third party tested, which means what you say in there is in there.
Mhm.
What about where you're sourcing your ingredients
We,
from?
we source the ingredients worldwide. We do, but they come in with a COA at our facility. They have to come in with a COA, which is a certificate of authenticity. The ingredient immediately gets sent off for third-party testing. Is it what they say it is? Because during COVID, we saw that, we got blueberry powder once and there was no blueberry in it, right? Okay, so is it what you say it is? It gets tested for heavy metals, mold toxicity, or all of the different things to make sure it is a clean product. Blends are made. Blends are based on each of the genes, like the APOB has 4 different ingredients. The blend is made, it's sent back to third-party testing again. And then when somebody orders their customized, we go through what we call a batching process, and retains are pulled from the entire batch of that batch. Let's say there's 500 orders that are running. We pull the retains and it's sent to third-party testing before we ship out the product even.
And that's for every single custom compound?
Yeah. We have
Wow.
we do it. We do it every single time we run a batch. Our retains are pulled so that we can send it to third-party testing, and we will not ship product until it clears third-party testing.
And so tell me if we've got kind of, let's call her, your average midlife woman feeling her own little scroll of symptoms. She comes to you, she gets her genetic test, she takes her custom compound.
Mhm.
What can she realistically expect to feel and in what time frame?
That's a great question. Okay, so some people feel it and some people don't, right? But if you are struggling, like me, I had been struggling for 11 years. What I experienced was better energy, better sleep. My husband's like, I have never seen anybody that sleeps like you now. It's commonly reported that people's sleep is better digestion, less brain fog, less bloating, etc. I literally experienced that within the first month. There's other individuals though that will get on the product and like my husband, I have to say this. He's like, I don't know that I feel anything. What we've tracked with him is his own blood work, and his blood work is drastically different.
Mm.
So, again, the beauty of the genetic test, it's a one and done test, right? You don't have to test again. We've got your custom, and then we show exactly what's going to be in your formula. And then I've been on my formula for 8 years. It's my
Wonderful.
one go-to thing that I take day in and day out. Do I ever add anything different? Yes, I might. My daughter comes home from sick school. I might take some extra C, etc. But no, that's what we do.
So is this kind of like replacing your multivitamin if it's got vitamin C you mentioned
Yep,
in there?
yep, yep. It's basically think about it as your own multi made just for you, but it's plant-based. We use numerous ingredients that are plant-based ingredients as the base of the product, and then all of the different components of where science has proven. Do you have inflammatory markers? Do you need milk thistle? Do you need curcumin? What nutrients do you need? So yeah,
Okay. I
I know,
mean,
right? You're like, wait.
my head's exploding a little bit right
So
now as I'm taking
so
it all in.
So yes, everybody's body is different. When I started it, month 1 was amazing. Month 2, I was like, I want to go back to month 1. So let's talk about why. Ultimately, my body was going through some repair work, and you might get a little bit of, detox symptoms. But by month 3, again, I was like, ooh, this is great. This is fantastic. So there is no such thing as a magic pill, right? I'm here to replace that stack of, 10 things, 12 things that you're guessing all the time. I'm here to be your foundation. And where we really see what I tell people, if you're going to do blood work before and after, give it at least 4 full months on a full dose to see what happens.
Yep. Yep. That makes perfect sense. And I like
Because,
that you pointed out that kind of detox sickness that we feel, regardless of what detox we're on, that can happen. So I
yeah,
appreciate you mentioning that that
yeah.
can happen with these as
Well,
well.
when you start, I mean, if you think about it, we don't get sick overnight. We go through life, we're exposed to, pollutants, chemicals. I mean, our bodies create byproducts when we break down food, et cetera. How are how's the body? And if the body's been struggling to get rid of that, we want to slowly open up that pathway and get it optimized. And that's not a take it one time and it's magic. We wouldn't want to do that. We want to slowly open it up so the body is functioning at a higher capacity all the time.
So I do want to address a skeptical question, a question that might come from a skeptic. Something like, okay, I don't want to know all the stuff that my genetics might tell me. Like, what if I hear something scary? What do you do when someone's results come back and it's showing them something that's maybe alarming?
Truly. I mean, I think that's a great question because the very first time I saw my genetics, I was like, oh my gosh, look at all my heart markers. But you know what? It's truly not scary. What it's done is it's put me in the driver's seat for my own health. Now I didn't know the questions to ask before. Now I know that when I go to see my primary care or my OBGYN, I know what questions, hey, I really, these are some of my predispositions and I'd really want to make sure we track these. I'm a woman in my 50s. I want to make sure I track them if I need to do anything else. So if anything, this should be more of an aha. You should feel more comfortable and confident of understanding. And it is, I see it all the time. I'll do a report review with somebody and it's like this aha moment. I wondered this, no wonder why this or whatever. And it's just like having, certain detox markers. I see that person that once upon a time had a glass of wine and it didn't affect them. And now they have a glass of wine and they have the worst raging headache. Those are detox pathways. It's how the body is taking and breaking down and turning things into water soluble. And if it's struggling, so we just want to come in and support those areas.
Yeah, and I think mindset matters here because you don't want to create this self-fulfilling prophecy either and say, "Oh, I have all these heart markers, I'm just going to die of cardiac disease. So I might
Right.
as well just throw caution to the wind and do whatever I want to do." I mean, if you actually look at it as you are and say, "Actually, this is giving me agency and helping me make the right choices for me to feel my best while I am here," then you'll get more out of this.
Yeah. I believe that our health and wellness, it's not an event. It's a marathon. And I'm all about simple things that make big shifts. And for me, the customized is again, you don't need this crazy supplement routine, some before breakfast, some with lunch, some before dinner, all of these different things. And now you're spending hundreds into hundreds of dollars and you don't even know what's working or not. Science has proven what we use in the doses we use it. We attach all the science to it. We're very transparent with all of the science. So somebody could read any of the 600 and some odd reasons why we use each validated ingredient.
Yeah, and none of us like playing supplement roulette, which I heard once and I'm like, "Oh, that's definitely what this is."
Exactly.
And, you're addressing a really common concern that I hear a lot of women saying recently, which is, I'm so sick of not knowing. Is this perimenopause? Is this something else? What is the root cause? What do I need to do to feel better? And I feel like this information does provide that extra layer that is specific to you and why you might be feeling this symptom and your friend who's the exact same age as you and lives a similar lifestyle does not.
Right.
So I think customization in this stage of life is very intriguing.
Yeah. And then you can You could go as high level, hey, I just want to get a custom product. Or you can start to dig deep and really start lining out, what are your health goals? And you see that you're more of that overinflamer, or you're more insulin resistant, etc. You can modify your nutrition, like what you eat daily then too. There's so many ways. That's what makes it so, so, so very powerful.
So fascinating. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your information about this. Where can everybody find you and learn more about your products and your testing capabilities?
Absolutely. They can find us at SNiP, SNIP, nutrition.com. So snipnutrition.com.
Fantastic. We
Yeah.
will link to that in the show notes. Thanks so much. It was such a fun conversation, very
Yeah.
enlightening.
Yes.